President Muhammad Buhari seems to have some obsession with the agricultural sector. Let's run through a few initiatives by his administration that since 2015 when he took office, from the Anchor Borrowers Program to the Presidential Fertilizer Initiative, the Green Imperative. We also have the Presidential Economic Diversification, the Food Security Council, amongst others. What's your assessment of these Agric reforms? For instance, the Anchor Borrowers Program, which, of course, the recently launched rice pyramid was based on.
Well, it cleared the doubt of many of us who think that it's not possible. Now we have seen the reality. We're seeing the pyramid, and nobody ever suggests that this rice was imported. So we all believe it was produced locally by the Nigerians for the Nigerians.
Okay, maybe I should come in there, Mr. Garba. So sorry to butt in, but you talk about local production, but there have been talks in different quarters that looking at the current insecurity in the country, that where are the, or what is the possibility that this rice were locally gotten or cultivated?
Well, the possibility that the local rice will continue is that, yes, we have insecurity, but if you look at most of the areas that are affected by the insecurity, is not mostly of the areas that produce rice. Because the insecurity is in the hinterland. And most of the rice are produced along the riverine areas. Like Kebi, if you look at the River Niger, River Benue, they are the major producers of this. And they
are you saying they are not affected by the insecurity in the country?
They are not much affected. Most of the area where they are doing paddy rice, the insecurity are not there, because even the human being to move in the paddy area, you find it a bit difficult because it's a muddy area. So most of the insecurity are more of the hinterland. So we believe that the rice is going to remain. And by banning the importation of the rice, it attracts more people going into producing of rice. Today, you are buying a bag of rice over 30,000 per bag, which means more attractive to the farmers. And don't forget that agriculture employs more Nigerians than any other sector of the economy. We need more people to be employed, to be more productive, and that will add to the GDP of the economy. And if you cannot feed your nation, you are in trouble.
So what's your total assessment of the program in itself? The Anchor Borrowers Program, we also talked about the Green Imperative and the other initiatives launched by this administration.
My total assessment is good, very good, but we have witnessed similar programs in the past, like great revolutions. Our major problem, continuity. If you remember, we had several agricultural products, but lack of continuity killed them. We hope that the next coming government will ride on this and continue. Otherwise, if you open our borders, we allow imported rice to come in mass. Yes, the food price will crash, but it will discourage local producer. And if it discourages local producer, it will kill the program. So we hope that will not be repeated.
So you don't foresee any opening of the borders anytime soon?
Well, even if we decided to open the borders, because the borders are now open, but rice was banned.
Yes,
and
rice is still banned, rather.
The importation of the rice should be continued, because you have to produce for what you can consume, rather than using foreign exchange to acquire for everything that you use.
Now, the whole idea of this pyramid, of course, is to drive down the price of rice. And that's saying that once the volume is stockpiled in the pyramid enters the market, it will offset the existing deficit and even the skills. And then we know that the amount of bags of rice at that pyramid was about 1 million paddy packaged in 50 kg bags. And that is about 50,000 tons. Now, Nigeria's rice deficit is about 57%. Now, statistics actually reveals that 57% of the 6.7 million metric tons of rice consumed in Nigeria annually is locally produced. And then that's leading to a supply deficit of about 3 million metric tons. Now, looking at this 50,000 metric tons, which of course this rice paddy pyramid is consisted of, and then comparing it to the deficit of 3 million metric tons. How do you suppose that these would be able to meet this demand?
Well, I expect our research institute to come with more brand that will be high yielding. Because our major problem is that you have a hectare, instead of producing 10 metric tons, you end up with 1 or 2. If we can have a high yield brand that can be used even on the hinterland, and I can tell you this is coming because I'm from Katsina and I have many of my brothers that plant rice, not in the paddy area, but they were able to produce it. And now we have a lot of machinery that can refine our rice that can be as good as the imported one. So if we improve these two, processing the rice as well as upgrading the brand, once these two succeed and we continue to close our border, it's just a matter of time, we'll reach a point that we need to export. It's just a matter of years.
You're projecting into the future,
Remember,
Mr. Curfew.
The same applies to...
Yes, you're projecting into the future, but we are looking at this current launch of the 1 million bags of rice at the rice pyramid launched in Abuja. But we're looking at the fact that these are 50,000 tons. And let's also remember that these are rice paddies, and not even the milled rice in itself, which means that eventually when it is milled, the tons we would be getting into the market might be way lower than 50,000 metric tons. So how do you suppose that the statement by the federal government that this amount of rice launched would be able to reduce the price of rice in the market? Is that feasible?
It is feasible because what was brought to Abuja is not up to 1% of what we produce. It's just for political reason. They want to prove very reasonable doubt that yes, it exists, yes, we are a producer and we can produce it. But the reality, if you go to Kano, go to Taraba, go to Benue, go to Nasarawa, go to Kebbi, there is a lot of factory producing this rice, and every day you see between 10 to 20 trucks load of processed rice being brought to Lagos. Most of the rice we are eating here is locally produced, but because the Nigerians have the mentality of imported, they change the bag to look like imported from Thailand. But I can assure you, most of the rice we are eating, even here in Lagos, is locally produced. But the Nigerian trust them. They don't want to see local produce. They want to see made in Thailand, made in Indonesia, and they repackage it and give it that name. You pay. By the time you go into it, you see that it's a local produce rice, well processed. So it's possible, it's visible. This is just to prove beyond reasonable doubt we are producing rice, and it's real. People have seen it. Nobody, even in the social media, ever say it's not rice, it's sand. So we all believe it's rice, and this is just a tip bag.
So looking at this current launch, do you see it attracting foreign direct investment into the country?
Already foreign direct investment, they are there. All of them, they are all over. They are bringing their rice. Go to Nasarawa, you see their farms, you see hectares produced with the new brand. Go to Kebbi, you see other companies. Even Dangote bring a new brand. So there is many people investing into it, and there is money in rice, and now it's real, people are seeing it.
Well, there's also the school of thought that the message around the launch of this world's largest rice pyramid, as tagged by the administration, is designed to bolster Nigerian spirit and improve the outcome of the president's scorecard. We know this is the electioneering year. Do you align with this thought?
Even if it is so, but it is real. What we don't want to fake, and nobody say that it is fake rice. We all believe it's rice. And if it is real, everything is politics. Even globally, the Indonesia, the Malaysia were begging us to open our border for imported rice. We say no. So it is real and it is political, but there is nothing wrong for your people producing. Those who produce the rice have no bearing to any political party. They are our masses, our farmers across the nation. Go to Abakaliki, you see people producing rice. You go to Rubarine area, you see people producing rice. Go to Kebbi, go to Maiduguri. Even in Maiduguri, despite the Boko Haram, they are producing rice. So it's real. And we consume what we produce, and that is the starting point.
We apologize for that breaking transmission. You're still watching Business Breakfast on iBrandTV, and we're still discussing the recently launched rice pyramid in Abuja with Mr. Kasimu Garba Karafi, and we're talking about the CBN disclosing that its intervention in the Nigerian agricultural sector has led to massive reduction in imported rice from Thailand, and that's from 2014 when about 1.3 million metric tons of rice was imported to Nigeria to about 58,000 metric tons at the end of 2021. And this seems like a big win for the Apex Bank and the local rice farmers. However, it is not reflecting in the price and availability of local rice in the country. Mr. Karfi, where is the missing link? How do we connect the dots?
Yes, you see, you have to remember that because of the devaluation of Naira, most of our industry work into local production. So there is a lot of consumption of maize, millet, guinea corn, all these support to the rice. So they consume a lot of them in producing brewery and what have baby food. And because they are consuming that, they are not using rice. So now people concentrate more into rice, and that's what pushes the price to go up. But I believe it's a matter of time as the price go up, attract more farmers into the production of rice. And the more production of rice, the price crash down. I have no doubt of me, give us the next 3 years, as long as the CBN support the anchor growers, I believe, and I have the confidence that these people, they are ready to produce all our needs and beyond. And it's just a matter of time we start exporting it.
This brings us to the lake rice, because this is not the first rice intervention the federal government will be coming up with. You'd recall the collaboration between Lagos and Kebbi, that's the lake rice, which of course we saw some hurdles, especially with the COVID-19 pandemic and the flood that affected production and then put a stop to that production. Although the state government, Lagos state government, has said that they're looking at bringing that back now. How do you see this as sustainable, considering the fact that we've had past interventions that have really not been sustainable?
It's sustainable, and I believe that we have to go beyond rice. We have to go into other areas because we complement each other. Not only in rice, we can look at other vegetables. What is the bag of tomato or pepper in Kebbi? Maybe 500 naira. How much are you buying it in Lagos? Maybe 6,000. So we need to collaborate not only in rice in other products, especially agricultural products, and complement each other. And I assure you, if we have a good aviation area system and good transportation system, all these subsidized and make life easier, especially for people living in the towns such as Lagos. Because if you can get the bag of tomato or pepper at 1,000, 2,000, compared to 6,000, 12,000 you are getting, you will have saving. And that saving you can reinvest it somewhere else.
All
So
right.
we need collaboration, not only rice.